member for Calgary-Lougheed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During his budget speech, the finance minister stated, and I quote, "We are keeping spending growth lower than the combined rate of inflation and population." But in his analysis, Dr. Trevor Toome noted that in the 4 years covered by the budget, total government spending rises by an average of 4.3%, while population growth plus inflation is actually 3.4%. So to the Premier, I am sure that the finance minister did not mean to misspeak during his budget address. So would you like to take this opportunity to correct your numbers for the record?
House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this government is focused on making sure that the budget supports Albertans and to support jobs in the private sector, Mr. Speaker, as well. We are just coming out of a recession, and I think the opposition's radical agenda of cuts would jeopardize that recovery before it even got underway. But, you know, I can't be lectured by a party that has $1 billion mistake in their budget preparation, Mr. Speaker.
First supplement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that it's important to be accurate and that a recent Main Street poll indicated that over half of Albertans believe the NDP's plan to return to balanced budgets by 2024 is too slow, and almost a quarter of Albertans indicated their first priority for the NDP, this is Albertans, was to reduce spending to lower the deficit. And given that the NDP did not address either of these concerns in this budget, to the Premier, since you missed the mark again this year, will you rethink your pre-budget consultation efforts so your fiscal decisions might have a chance of accurately representing the wishes of Albertans maybe next time?
From the House Leader.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, but I want to correct the honourable member. This government's focused, and this government was elected and has a mandate in order to protect the important public services that the previous government was going to cut. Mr. Speaker, we have reversed their cuts to health care, which were massive. We've made sure that there's teachers in schools so that class sizes don't balloon, Mr. Speaker. We've canceled their health care premium tax that they wanted to impose. And in speaking of polls, Mr. Speaker, I might also mention that polls showed before the last election that that party was going to win another term, Mr. Speaker. They didn't.
Given that it's important to stop blaming and start governing, and despite repeated warnings about impending credit downgrades, the NDP has once again made absolutely no effort to constrain spending to any responsible level. And given that Albertans have been pleading for this government to finally show some leadership by making good, forward-looking fiscal decisions, just as Albertans do at home and at work, why is the NDP handcuffing future generations and governments with reckless spending decisions? And do they realize that the hard choices they are skipping right now will not save their government from May of 2019?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'll just give one concrete example of something that we're doing in order to bring down spending in this province. The previous government appointed all sorts of friends and insiders to the various government boards and agencies. Mr. Speaker, they were paid in some cases massive salaries, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, Mr. Speaker. They got free golf memberships. Mr. Speaker, we've done away with that kind of waste and that kind of financial largesse to the friends of the previous government has ended under this government, Mr. Speaker, because we're standing up for Alberta taxpayers.